Welcome back to Quick Chain Lessons by Chain Academy. Have you tried using a vending machine? You try to press a button, it decides what it will give to you based from your choice. Today, we will teach your Go programs how to make those decisions. We will use Go if and else, switch, and logical operators to build smart, realistic logic. Let us first go to booleans and conditions. So the Boolean is the yes and no logic that lets programs make decisions. Think about everyday checks. Is the door locked? Do I have enough battery? Or do I have food to eat? Each of those is either true or false. Every decision in our life is actually can be answered by true or false. The same in our program. Computers use the same idea to decide what to do next. So technically, a boolean is a value that is either true or false. You think of it like a light switch. You can turn it on or you can turn it off. In many languages, you will see the keyword true and false, and sometimes 1 and 0. Now let's talk about condition. A condition is an expression the computer can evaluate to true or false. We use conditions inside if statements and loops to control what happens. And they matter much because every decision in code, whether to show a message, give a grade, or unlock a level, start with a Boolean condition. Now, in order to get a Boolean value and set the condition, you need to have what we call relational operators. So, what are relational operators? Relational operators are symbols that compare two operands. Can be a number, string, variables, or expressions, and produce a boolean, a true or false result, in order for us to make decisions in code. So why do we need to use them? Because number one, we need to check the order. For example, is variable A less than variable B? We also need it to check the equality and inequality of numbers or a string. We can also use this to control the flow of the statement. One block of code when the comparison is true, then another when it is false. So, what makes those operators? These are the examples that we have. The first is the less than operator. The less than operator checks if the left operand is strictly smaller than the right operand, while the greater than operator checks if the left operand is strictly larger than the right operand. The less than or equal to operator check if the left operand is smaller than or equal to the right operand. You are combining two logics at the same time when you try to use this operator, and its counterpart is greater than or equal to, which it will check if the left operand is larger than or equal to the right operand. We also have the equal to, which checks if the two operands have the same value, and 6 is the not equal to, which checks if the two operands have different values. Now, to fully understand how this condition works, we need to look on control flow statements. Let us first define what is it. So control flow statements are how we tell a program what to do next. They let us choose between paths, repeat actions, or exit early based on conditions that are either true or false. So what makes control flow statements? You need to remember these three. First is the if statement. The if statement used to check a condition. It's either A is bigger than B or B is bigger than C. Therefore, if the condition is true, the code inside the block or the if block will run. If the condition is false, the block therefore is skipped. Next, we have the else if. The else if lets you check multiple conditions in sequence. However, you need to remember that only the first true conditions block runs, and the rest are skipped. And it's very useful when you have several possibilities. Then what would happen if the condition in the if statement and there is no condition met in the else if statement, what will happen to your Go program? That is where else statement will come. Else statement acts as the catch all and runs if none of the above conditions are true. So it does not have a condition of its own because it relies on the if statement or else if. Now, in order for you to understand better, let's have a quick demo in our code. Now, in order for us to continue, let us comment the codes that you have used in the previous episodes. And now we will create new example for our topic. So let's have here an if condition. So let's have first a variable that we will use as a basis of our condition. We will have here, for example, age, and we will declare it as number 16. And we will have an if condition. If age is bigger or equal to 18, by using our operator, we can compare the age and number 18. So we can have here a curly bracket. So inside of this curly bracket, you need to put the logic that you want to execute. For example, if the age is equal to 18 or bigger than 18, we will print ln or we will show to the screen or terminal. So we can put here, you can apply for a driver's license. All right. Now, in case this will not pursue and the age will be lower than 18, so we will put here an else, and then in the else, we will put here fmt that println, and we will put here not yet qualified for a driver's license. All right. So let's try to execute the code. Go run main.go. We have a problem with spacing. So we need it to make something like this. So let's execute again. Let's clear a terminal and then go run main.go, and we will see the result. Not yet qualified for a driver's license because the age is just 16. Let's try to change this and make this 18. Let's go run main.go, and it will say you can apply for a driver's license. Now let's try to make it bigger. Let's make it 21, and let's go run main.go again, and we will see that you can still apply for a driver's license. So that's how easy it is to use an if condition and ready an else execution for it in case the if statement will not pursue. Now, how about the else if? So else if is another logic aside from these two. So let's add here an else if, then let's have a logic. Let's say age is bigger or equal to 18, while this one, we will change this to 21, and then we will define what it will do. A sub open and closing bracket, sub enter here, and let's put here fmt, that println, and we will put here, let's just copy this one. You can apply for a driver's license, but with limitations. But once you reach 21, for example, you can apply for a driver's license with full privilege. Okay. So if the age is 21 and more, this will display, while if the age is 18 but not 21, let's say it will be 18 or 19, this will display on our terminal. And if it's lower to 18, definitely it will fall on the else, which will display not yet qualified for a driver's license. Now let's try it. Let's try first the 21. Let's clear the terminal, go run main.go. You will see the result. Let's make this 22. Now let's go and change this to 18. So we will have with limitations. And let's make this 16. Definitely it will fall to the else. Now we have not yet qualified for a driver's license. Okay. So that's how simple it is to use else if. Now that you know the basics of control flow statements, let us add more features that we can do with it by using what we call the logical operators. Logical operators are used to combine or modify conditions in decision making. They work with Boolean values, true or false, and are often used in if statements, loops, and complex conditions. And what is inside logical operators? First, we have the AND operator, which returns true only if both conditions are true. If either or both are false, the result is false. While the OR operator returns true if at least one condition is true, and it will return false when both conditions are false. So this one just needs one true condition and it will execute your code. While this one, all of the conditions should be true before it executes your code. So that is the main difference between the two. Now, we also have the NOT operator, where it reverses the Boolean value. So, for example, if the value of the Boolean is true, the NOT operator will make it false, and vice versa. So, in order for you to understand it better, let's have a quick demo on how to use it in an if-else statement. Let's remove the codes that we have used here, or leave a comment for this, and we will start a new set of code. Now, let's have a variable here, which we will call has ID, which will be our basis if a person has an ID. And we will also have a variable called balance, and we will check if he or she has a balance. Let's say, for example, 120 for the balance. Now, we will have a condition here. If has ID, it means if the has ID is equal to true or a truthy statement, then therefore this condition will be met. But we will add another condition here by using the AND operator, and this is the symbol of the AND operator, and we will have here balance should be bigger or equal to 100, and if so, we'll print here you can enter. Now in case not, we will have here println, and we will have sorry, entry denied. Let's fix the spacing. Okay, so if this one is correct, this second condition must be correct. If one is false between these two conditions, therefore it will not proceed. You can also add another condition by adding the AND operator again on this part or this part. It's up to you. But as you add more AND operator here, your program will make sure that all of the conditions should be true before it executes your code. Else, it will fall on this one. So let's try to execute this. Go run main.go, and we will have you can enter. Let's try to change this to 90. Go run main.go, and your entry will be denied. So in the AND operator, all of the conditions should be true. Now let's go to the OR operator, where at least one must be true. Let's have a comment on this part. Let's have another example. Let's say, for example, is weekend, and we will put here false, and we will put here is holiday, and we will put here true. Let's say, for example, if this is the weekend or this is a holiday, then definitely no school today. FMT, println, no school today. Else, then definitely we will have println, and let's have regular school today. So you will notice the is weekend variable is false and the is holiday is true. Technically, this first condition is false and the second condition is true. But let us see what will happen. Go run main.go, and it will still execute no school today because in the OR operator, you only need one condition to be true and it will execute your code immediately. All right. So now let's go to the NOT operator. Let's say, for example, raining, and then we will put here true. So let's have your if not operator and then raining. So definitely this will flip the truth value. So we can have here FMT, println, and we will put here go outside. If not raining, let's put a letter T on the print, and we will put else. Let's have here FMT, that println, and let's put here bring an umbrella. So let's see, go run main.go. So we have here bring an umbrella because this is true and it negated it. While if we put false, we will declare here not raining. So it will say go outside. Okay. So that is the purpose of the NOT operator. Now we are done with if, else statement, and logical operators. It's now time to understand another concept where you could do the same logic on what the if else condition could give. It is often called the if and else alternative. We call this the switch statement. So, what is a switch statement? A switch statement is a control flow structure that lets you execute one block of code out of many options based on the value of a variable or expression. It is often used as an alternative to multiple if else if statement, making code cleaner and easier to read. But before we do a demo, we need to understand some points to remember for switch. In order for you to construct a switch statement, you will need this for. The first, you need the expression, the variable or expression to check. Next, you need the case, which compares the expression against a possible value. And break, this is for the exits, the switch after executing a case to avoid a fall through, and the default, where it runs if no case matches, which is similar to else. Let's have a code application of this concept that we have talked about. So inside our code, let's comment this and we will do a new example. So let's have here a score, which will be our basis on our logic equals to 88. And let's have the switch statement here. You also need to have here a curly bracket and you need to declare the case. Let's say case number one. So let's have the condition. If the score is bigger or equal to 90, and then we will put a colon here and we will put the result. Then we will print ln A grade. So if the grade is 90 or above, the student will get an A grade. Next, the second case, let's have score here. And if the score is bigger or equal to 80, sub the colon, sub FMT, print ln, the student will get a B. So if the score is 80 until 89, but not 90, the student will fetch B. But once it reaches 90, the student will be in the category of A grade. Now the next condition, case, score, and let's have here 70, colon, FMT, println, and let's have C. So 70 and to 80, the student will get C. And let's have here a default, and let's have FMT, println, and we will say keep on practicing. Now let's run the switch statement. Go run main.go, and we will have the category of B because this is 88. Let's try to change this to 90. Let's have go run main.go again, and we will have an A grade. Thank you for spending this session with Quick Chain Lessons, brought to you by Chain Academy. Today, we have unlocked how programs make choices in Go, starting with booleans and conditions, moving through logical operators, and putting it all to work with if, else, and switch. If this helped you, the best way to support us is to follow our pages and share this lesson with a classmate who's learning Go. You might also want to check our courses at chain-academy.io.